Hello everyone, I'm Andy Epix and welcome back to episode 2 or 3, I can't remember which, of Project Real. Anyways, allumage Vulcan. Allumage de rappel et décollage. And liftoff of the Ariane 5 is confirmed. Carrying space telescope. At least our first space telescope. Onto a geostationary transfer orbit. The roll maneuver is in, as is the pitch maneuver. The Vulcan 2 is burning as expected, along with the SRBs. As Ariane is climbing out of the Kerbal Space Center. Our first major milestone will be separation of the two SRBs. Not sure when that's expected to occur, because I have not tested this vehicle before. At least not in stock. I have not actually tested this vehicle in either stock or realism overhaul. Spacecraft is climbing out of KSC at a velocity of approaching 600 meters per second. The étage principal cryotechnique is burning with the Vulcan 2 engine. As we throttle back to 50%. Throttle on the Vulcan main engine. But at this point, the SRBs are doing most of the work. As we power out of KSC at a velocity nearing 1 kilometer per second. Powering out towards the dawn side of Kerbin. And the two SRMs have cut out. Separation. Separation of the two Ariane 5 SRMs. As vehicle speed begins to drop away. And we should increase speed again once the Vulcan engine brings its power level back up. We're spinning around our roll axis, not sure why. As we begin to pick up speed once again. Our speed is 1.35 kilometers per second. Altitude is now 76 kilometers. Standing by for payload fairing separation. Separation of the payload fairing. As we, for the first time, get a look at our payload. It's a very simple satellite. As our velocity continues to increase. The EPC is burning as expected. Soon we should be crossing onto the daylight side as the sun rises above Kerbin. We can confirm that we have indeed crossed onto the daylight side. As Ariane 5 continues to barrel along at a velocity of 2 kilometers per second currently, or at least reaching 2 kilometers per second. As we head into physical time acceleration. We have entered orbit of Kerbin on first stage power alone. We have entered an orbital trajectory on the first stage alone. And we have shut down. Séparation de le premier étage, allumage étage cryotechnique, allumage ECA. Ignition of the ECA, the cryogenic second stage for the final bit of the boost up to apoapsis. Spacecraft altitude 127 kilometers. As we are boosting our way up to geostationary transfer orbit. as we have extended the solar panels. And are preparing to leave and are preparing to begin the ballistic phase to apoapsis. As we are shutting down the cryogenic second stage. For the coast to apoapsis. As we are now coasting. Approaching the end of the ballistic phase. And insertion into a circular geosynchronous orbit. And we have burn of the cryogenic second stage. We're moving our surface velocity towards null, or 0. We're moving to null out our surface velocity. As we're approaching the end of the burn. And a geosynchronous orbit. Our velocity is approaching 0. That is 0 surface velocity. And we have separated the spacecraft, unlocking its monoprop tanks, and burning into a more or less geosynchronous orbit. orienting to attempt to take a picture of Duna. We are performing the first tests of this telescope. As we can take a photo of Kerbin. Just to confirm the functionality of this telescope. Can zoom in on the clouds, can zoom out. As we control from the camera, we can target Jewel. And tell the camera to aim at the target. And give its aim to aim at the target. Just starting to see a bit of Jewel in the camera. We had just begun to see a bit of Jewel in the camera. There we have it. A fairly low resolution picture, but a picture of Jewel all the same. As we are now orienting to try and snap a photo of Elu. What is that? We don't appear to be able to take a photo of Elu, so we will aim at Duna and try and get a photo of it. Picture of the second stage of our launch vehicle. As we cannot appear to get a picture of Duna, we will jump back to the Space Center. And prepare a new vehicle for launch in the vehicle assembly building. That was enough time spent on the space telescope. As we jump back into the VAB, and we can prep a new vehicle. This time it might be the Delta 3 or something along those lines. Or the PSLV. But I think that would, I'm just gonna begin preparing the Delta 3. Not sure if it makes any difference whether I'm gonna get the verniers out just to ensure that I have it ready. Actually, I'm not gonna bother with that until I get the upper assembly together. Here's the Delta 3 interstage decoupler attaching to the Delta 3 Thor tank thing. As we're now going to begin attaching the RS-27A liquid fuel engine and its two LR-101 vernier engines. Only needs two. The RS-27 and two verniers are attached. I could do the 73, God knows what. I could do any number of different configurations. And the game has crashed. Anyways, that was episode 2 of Project Real. I am Andy Epix, and I will see you next time.